So, as you know, when I have a client who asks a question, I like to obviously answer it for them, but also reflect on the fact that if one person's asked it, probably other people also want to know the answer. So I decided to do a live on this one, which is a really, really important question. Poor client was devastated because she got asked by her vet if she had an end of life plan for her dog. She took that quite badly, and understandably so. So she asked me about it, and so I explained it much more fully than that, and explained that actually it's a really good idea. It's a really good thing to have in place, and I'd strongly recommend it to anybody. But I can certainly understand why it would be taken badly, because nobody wants to be talking about those things. Nobody wants to think about those things. But actually, having some planning means that you can feel a bit more in control. And when that horrible time happens, then you've kind of got something in mind as to how you're going to work your way through that process. And it can be as complicated or as uncomplicated as you want. And to sort of turn it into human terms a little bit, not that we can completely, loads of people are planning their own funerals these days. Like, loads of people are doing it. Whether you agree with that or not is a different thing. But, you know, loads of people like to take that bit of control back. So it's kind of that equivalent. But obviously there's a lot more to it from our pet's perspective. So what does it mean? What does it involve? It literally means things like, do you know the phone number to ring if you decide it's time? Is it going to be your emergency number? Do you actually know what it is for the emergency phone call for your vets? Is it, if it's daytime, obviously you can ring your normal vets, but if it's not the daytime, it's going to be the emergency provider if you have a separate one. So do you know what that is? Do you have a person that you can phone and ask for support? Are you on your own? You know, that's not a good place to be. If you need some help, do you know who you can turn to help you? Everybody obviously wants this to all happen as a home visit. Well, actually, I say everybody, maybe not. Maybe that isn't for you. If you want a home visit, have you had that conversation with your vet? Is it even an option? Is it something that they can actually come and do? If they have got some notice, they're more likely to be able to do it. There are also some home euthanasia companies out there. So do you need to go and find out who their phone number is? Give them a call, find out if they can offer what you want from them. Then it's also things like, some vets might like to ask you if you want to do a paw print or a fur clip. You may not want to have that conversation at that time when your dearly beloved has departed. I mean, I know I couldn't have that conversation. I needed to deal with all that stuff well in advance when my boy was still with me. So, you know, having that conversation in advance can help take the pressure off your shoulders. If finances are difficult, then maybe you can have that conversation before as well, and then you can decide about, this is awful, you know, cremation options. You know, if you want to be able to have the ashes back, that obviously costs more money, but you can get more options. If you don't, and it doesn't matter because it's just their shell, that's totally understandable as well. But having that conversation in advance means they could probably note it on the notes and not have that pressure in the consulting room with you at that time. And equally, if you do the individual routes, you might want to speak to the prep crematorium. Maybe they've got options for you that you can discuss. And again, I was quite surprised when I lost my boy. Turns out there was loads of things that I didn't even know were an option, like an attended service, which I did. But again, not for everybody. It's all personal. And this is why it's your individual plan, what you want. If you've got kids, what are you going to do with the kids? Do you want them to be there? Do you not want them to be there? Again, you may not want to have that discussion or decision at a time when it's all, you know, happened out of the blue. You know, if you can make that plan in advance, then maybe you can talk to the child, find out what you want them to, what they want to do. Other things are like, you know, it might be that you know, for most of us, we're not going to actually necessarily have much planning time. I think I remember that time when you have a child and they say, what's your birth plan? And you're like, get it out. So you know, it's not necessarily that you're going to actually have many of these options, even though you set them in stone. But you may want to think that if you do have the grace to be able to have that those decisions made in advance, maybe you can help yourself. So when it was my decision for my dog to go, you know, I took him for a walk. I went and collected loads of foliage from all the places that he liked to sniff on his walks. And I picked that up and I put it in his basket and I took it home. And, you know, when it was time for him to go, I had music playing that was all, you know, calm, quiet. I had essential oils that were all the calming ones for dogs. I had the foliage around him because that was his happy place smells. That quite frankly gave me something to do, because when he went, I was devastated and I needed to calm down. And so I picked up all that foliage and I made it into a bouquet. And I gave my husband a little wooden tag to make into a little memorial for him and stuff like that. So it just gave me something to do at that time as well. So my point is that end of life plans are really, really important. Don't be offended if a vet speaks to you about them, because they are a really good thing to do. But it is a very, very difficult and very delicate subject. And I hope that that very long answer has helped to give you some more information about what an end of life plan is. So hopefully you can get those thoughts in motion in your mind, so that at that awful time, you don't have so many decisions to make within what can be a very, very small window of time. You know, and quite honestly, it can just help put you in a better place to deal with what's already the most horrendous situation going. So yeah, if you have any questions, please do ask. And if you have thought of any questions on this, then please pop them in the comments and all that jazz. But yeah, happy to help. Hopefully that's some help on a very difficult subject. Thank you. Bye bye.